Hey Earthlings, are we live?
Hey everybody!
Yes, we are live.
There we go.
Hey,
Sweet.
good to see you, Earthlings.
It's been a while since we've gone live.
Yeah, let us know if you can hear us well and where are you watching us from. We are coming from Mexico, a beautiful town called San Cristobal. It's a kind of like a spiritual hub and a vortex here. Really magical place to be, and today we have really amazing and important topic, which is
We want to help you to see the slave mentality that most human beings carry, so that you can identify it in yourself, how it is operating through you, and we're going to discuss as well how to dismantle it and what the world would look like without the slave mentality.
Yeah, are you ready? Yeah, we're gonna check the chat. Let us know if you can hear us well and where from.
Sophia is with us. Hey,
Welcome, Sophia.
Good to have you with us.
Yeah.
So, the slave mentality is basically programming. It's an unconscious programming that we carry. And you can see it in so many ways in society. For example, when we are sacrificing our joy and our pleasure and our creativity in favor of creating money, of earning money.
Earning living.
Yes, earning a living, as if we have to earn our right to live.
Yeah, such a crazy concept.
Yeah. Yeah, and also there is this idea that we have to do a lot of things. This comes from the slave self. You know, like even if it's something like maybe you kind of like your job, but you don't really want to be there 8 hours a day, or you don't want to wake up at 7 in the morning.
Or you don't like your colleagues and you just like hate being around them. Like all this small compromise is the small indicators.
Exactly, and the compromise is the key here. Wherever we are compromising ourselves, our joy, our passion, that's where the slave self is operating. Yeah. The slave is sacrificing constantly.
Yeah. We're gonna also talk in the end of the live stream how this come to a place, like why most of us have this slave mentality and running the show, and how we can overcome it.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit more about the kind of the characteristics of the slave self, so that you can identify if this is you. Usually there is quite an intense fear of punishment from authority. So we might be really anxiously following rules and laws, you know, just to not get punished, even when it does not go with our integrity. And we might even, you know, disconnect from others who are going against the system with this fear of being found out that we are doing the wrong thing. Yeah. So there's this idea that there's someone outside of us who has more power than us, who we are at the mercy of.
Yeah. Which is funny and sad in the same time. Yeah. Yeah, let us know where are you watching us from. I can see people start to join. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the new Earthling. And you are a new Earthling as well.
Yes. So there is more signs that you might notice in yourself. For example, if you ever feel the shame of asking for too much or wanting too much, not daring to, you know, dream big, even having the fear of like wanting to earn a bigger income or wanting to speak your truth and then feeling shame of doing that. Who are you to shine? You know? Yeah. And it's that slave self inside of us saying like, who are you? You're just a little slave. Who are you to, you know, lead?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then there is this idea of like that someone else outside of us knows better what is best for us.
Yeah.
So we see this, for example, that we are following science instead of listening to our intuition.
Or gurus even.
Yeah, exactly. Spiritual teachers. Yeah. We're trying to ask others what I should be doing, what is right and wrong, instead of feeling inside of us what is right and wrong.
Yeah.
or asking a doctor what we should be doing with our health.
Yeah, and like there's nothing wrong in asking people, but when it's the primary source of information and knowledge without really knowing yourself and knowing what aligns for you, there when it become a problem. Like there's nothing wrong with following a guru or like listening to a spiritual teacher, as long as you're having your internal combos and your internal guidance system activated all the time. And here where you are like fully like aware of what's good for you, and when you have like contradictory information from different teachers or different gurus or different source or science or whatever, when you have like all this external confusion, you can come back to yourself, and inside you there is like the truth, uncompromised, very clear, and then you are connected to your power and to your true self, and not acting out of the enslavement and the slave self.
Yeah, a really big one that I would say you can see in most humans is where we are exchanging time and energy for money. And this sounds so obvious, like, yeah, of course you need to, work to get money. But this is actually coming from the slave self, where we are sacrificing, where our focus is not, what is my joy and excitement? How do I want to spend my time? It is, I need to give away my time and energy to get money so I can survive.
Yeah. That's the slave mentality, like time for survival, like energy for survival. Exactly. So we're not connecting to the thriving, and yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with money, Yeah. A free being will enjoy money and allow it to flow in and out. And I'm not saying that we're fully in that yet, We're still working on our own
way.
On the way, but it shouldn't be the focus,
Yeah. And it's been a journey since we like start to actually implement those like guidance where we are not working for money anymore, and now like our time is just for what we love doing, and not so much out of like, oh, I need to have a job. Like we both quit our job and we are doing what we are passionate about. And I think many of you have seen our community videos, so that's like big part of our focus, because we can see where we see actually the new earth is building. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not so much about like where to make living. And I think there's so many of you guys are tapping into this new energy where it's coming out of your heart, what you want to do. And recently I had a process with one of my clients, was so beautiful. Like he becoming more and more aware of what he really wants, and then to quit his job. Hi, by the way, if you are watching. And it's such a beautiful process and challenging, but in the same time it put you in so much like touch of who you actually are and what's your value, and see that this doesn't match anymore the old system that you used to serve. So you're tapping into this new beautiful energy where you're the creator, we're the source of inspiration. Yeah. Yes,
where you are giving energy to something that gives you back. Because part of the slave system, and I'm saying this knowingly that, the whole system is built on us being in the slave mentality.
Yeah.
And it is built in a way where we are giving away our energy for someone else's goals. Right? So let's say someone else has a company and they have this big dream and they're the ones making the most amount of money from it, and then we might be serving a small role there in that company, but it's not really our goal. Very rarely we are super passionate and aligned, with the role that we're doing. It might be fulfilling certain needs for us to feel important and having status. And by the way, interestingly enough, becoming a master or a boss does not mean that you're out of the slave system. It is still part of the same system. It is like if you imagine that there's a rank of slaves, that when you've been a slave for a long time, now you get to be charged of a group of slaves, but it's still the same slave system. Master and the slave are the same, actually. A sovereign being does not know slaves or masters.
Doesn't opt into this dynamics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would love to hear from you guys. What's your take on that? So make it like more interactive to share with us. So what's your journey? Like, have you been activated and like aligned with yourself, or do you feel the slave mindset is still like activated in you. We'd love to hear from you and yeah, have a chat about it.
Hi, Matani from Romania.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to share a few more of these kind of signs that where you can see that you are still operating from the slave mentality. And by the way, there's no shame in this. Everybody has this to some degree.
Yeah.
So just be honest with yourself and don't feel bad about it. It's good to see it. That's the way we get out of it, is by seeing it fully.
Yeah.
So there is a sense of inferiority, which makes us want to be superior. And this is part of this, where we try to climb the corporate ladder to become superior. And also you might see this in people who are trying to accumulate certificates, you know, to prove that they are someone.
Yeah.
But it's actually coming from a place of, I don't trust my light. I don't trust myself to be a vessel for truth.
Yeah, I need somebody to validate me, to like add to my sense of ego or add to my sense of self, so I can be somebody for. And this is so common in the healing like circles, like in our circles, for example. So many people are like, oh, I need to be certified in order to help humanity or offer my service. And it's not true. You just need to connect yourself, connect to the knowledge field, maybe learning is so important, but running after certificate to have this teacher certify you or that teacher, it's just like belong to the old system. We don't need this anymore.
Yeah, totally. It's part of the someone else in the outside knows and has the power to tell me that I'm good enough to do this work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of this also like waiting for approval from the outside before living our dream. So many of us are kind of, we already know that we want to step outside of the system and live our dream, but we don't dare to do that. It's almost like we're waiting for someone to give us the green light, the permission. You're allowed to. Rather than taking that inner authority and leadership to do it.
Yes.
Okay. So there are some of these beliefs that we carry that come from the slave self, such as a belief of lack. What I need comes from the outside. You know, that I have to do something to get what I need. This is coming from lack, as opposed to inherent sense of abundance and trust. Matani Andre is saying, I am having a hard time with my father that thinks he has to treat me and my mother in the worst ways, so he would not participate at the hard work that we have to do in general. Yeah, it sounds like he is strongly in that slave mentality and perhaps trying to like feel himself as a master.
As a controller.
Yeah. Sophia is saying it's so hard to get out of the system. Somehow it is, but actually, like,
it's hard because actually we have so much programming, but the more we do inner work, the easier it becomes. And believe me or don't believe, but it's super, super easy when we are actually doing the internal work. So the more, for me, myself, I can speak for myself, the more I do the internal work, the more I feel I can say no to the old system. And I see this so much happening in my clients. Like there's so many examples I've seen from our clients that people are quitting their job and sustaining themselves in alternative things that they love to do. And this is happening all over the world, not only with our client, but also in our circle here where we are, also in the spiritual community. There's many people are tapping into their gifts and offering their gifts to the community and getting reward by it, either support, financial support, whatever. And it's happening. Like it's powerful. I just want to give you encouragement. Yeah, I know it sounds hard when you are still there, but the more you take internal step, the more you're like accelerating this process. Yeah.
Absolutely. Maybe we can talk a little bit how this is created, why we are in this shit. Well, you know, obviously slaves exist because someone is benefiting from the slaves, right?
Or more than someone.
Yeah, there is someone who is benefiting from that work, from your life force energy.
Yeah, and that's been going for centuries. Like it's been there for so long. Like the slave mentality is embedded in humanity for so long, and now we are in this age where we are coming to an edge. So like making this change is such a like a cutting edge technology we are coming through. It's amazing. Like if you look at humanity history, most of us lived in slaves in previous lives, and yeah, just look at the history.
Yeah, and I mean the slave mentality now, it's kind of insidious and hidden because you can't really see it. We believe ourselves to be free while we are giving away our life force energy to things that don't serve us. So, and this is the best way to have slave, convince him that he's free and he will never fight for his freedom.
Yeah.
So, and now it's so easy to transfer the slave mentality. All you need to do is have parents who have the slave mentality. They do the work for you, you know. Our parents, basically, they're not able to model us what a free being looks like, because if they are still in the slave mentality. A huge part of this is of how we are programmed comes actually from the birthing process. Yes, when we come out of the womb and we are met with fear, pain, and abandonment. Actually, when we don't have that intimate closeness with our mother, that would meet basically all our initial needs as a baby. This creates a primary lack in our system, and because of that lack, we are really susceptible to manipulation and to control and to following an outside authority, because now we are in a state of I don't have that sense of that imprint stays within us. I'm not safe, I don't have, and then we latch on to something who promises to keep us safe or who promises to meet our needs.
Yeah, and that developed later age at the socialization. And then in the school system, we have a really important video, guys. You should watch it next after the live streams about how the school system enslave us and program us to be not connected to our heart desire and our mission. So highly recommend you to watch it next. So yeah, the school system is one of the most effective tool to program us to be in the slave mentality, where all the training is about obedience, disconnection from creativity, following the rules. Yeah, we talked a lot about it in the video, so yeah, just go watch it next.
Yeah, and it doesn't end, you know. After that, we still have the system of employees and bosses and a government, where the government creates the rules and the laws, and the individual, doesn't matter what you feel is your personal truth or sense of morality.
You must follow.
You just must follow, even if the law itself doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there is so many unlawful laws nowadays. Like, for example, if you look at the justice towards animals, like it's so unjust to force so much suffering on them. If you look at the international laws, where country invading other country, killing innocent people, like we see what happened in Ukraine, and this is not one thing. This has been happening for all along in Iraq, in Syria, in Libya, and in Philippines. Like all this history of invasion, it's like, and they make it legal. So it's like really crazy. Like this slave mentality is it's like a running machine that bulldoze everything that's alive and everything that's beautiful.
Yes, and it's super kind of like weaved in to our everyday lives. Like we take it for granted that we need a passport to move.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah.
If we are sovereign beings of Earth, countries are illusionary. Why would you need a permission from someone, a document from someone that you're allowed to move in this Earth?
And now with the new invasion on human rights, you have also to have the other passport to be able to move. Like it becomes so bizarre and so clear how the system is dysfunctional, and we need to like, for us at least, it became so clear that it's so difficult to change it from within. So we are opting out of it and creating something new. And this is part of many movements. One of them, the Freedom Style movement. I would highly recommend you to check it. It's to encourage people to step out of the system, and it's like kind of like exit and build. Yeah, creating something new.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I must acknowledge that it isn't easy to pull your energy away completely always, because, for example, the tax system.
Yeah.
Like it is basically where our energy is being sucked against our consent. Like we cannot really opt out of it. I think we can, but it's something we're taught that we're told we cannot opt out of it. And I know it can be difficult to take those steps to, you know, pull out completely.
Another example is the YouTube channel. This is where we get connection with people and we can share our thoughts and processes and so on. So we're still using this platform. And by the way, we are opting out of it soon. So make sure to subscribe to our newsletter and follow us on Odyssey. It's a censorship-free platform where we share also all our videos are there. So you can see it there, and we will be posting more videos of things that we can share in YouTube. We will be sharing it there. So you will find a link in the description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So another important thing to notice is where we are doing this enslaving internally. Besides doing things that we don't want to be doing, we often enslave our bodies. Instead of honoring and respecting our bodies as divine vessels, Mother Nature, you know, providing us with so much pleasure and guidance in life, basically we are enslaving the body. Oftentimes we exercise and work when we're tired, or we push ourselves to exercise in order to have a fit body, or we drink coffee when we're tired.
Or alcohol even.
Yeah, people do plastic surgery. They mutilate their bodies to look beautiful, to fit the standards of society.
Yeah, so this is part of the slave. You're enslaving your own body and your own system to fit external expectation on you.
Yeah. Another big part of the enslaving of the body is suppression of impulses and emotions. And the impulses could be something like, I feel like screaming out of joy. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Or I feel like
walking
crying.
Bare feet.
Walking bare feet. Or I feel like crying. And then we suppress what the body is trying to tell us.
Yeah. And by the way, if you're enjoying this video, like it, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel, do it so you can see more of us, more of our videos, more of us.
I have another really good example of like how this inner enslavement can happen in a really sneaky way. I noticed it in myself when I began to go towards the things I'm passionate about. Like, for example, I start drawing more. Finally, that inner desire to draw is allowed to come out, and then the inner master comes in and says, how are we going to make money from this? It's not enough that you do it just out of pleasure. We have to now employ this. It's like enslaving the inner child and they're using their gifts to make money. You know, it can take over in a very sneaky way, so be careful.
Yeah. We're gonna finish very soon, so if you have questions, let us know and we'll answer them all before we end. And yeah, it helps us a lot if you can give it a like. That will make the YouTube algorithm suggest it to more of our followers, so the shadow ban will not affect us so much. I think probably by now you know that we have a shadow ban. That's why our videos are not shown to all our subscribers. So if you like to help us, that will be great.
Ravel, you're saying that slave from Slav, is that where the word comes from? Can you elaborate on that? I'm curious what the word Slav means. Hello, give us advice to liberation. Perfect, you're taking us to the next point. So how to dismantle the slave mentality. Number one is to recognize it. Because if you're not aware of where you're operating in it, you're still subconscious. There's no way that you can choose to free yourself from it. So you can use this video, all the examples that we've given, to identify if you fall into any of those, you know, descriptions. If you notice that you can write down where in your life the slave is still operating. But please don't do this from a place of like,
self-judgment. Like if you do it from there, then there's another slave master who's enslaving the slave self. That's just funny. But yeah, it needs to come from really authentic self-love, like really seeing how beautiful it is to step into the new step of liberation and aliveness and love and joy and 5D, whatever you want to call it. So step number 2, you already touched upon that. Don't fight the pattern or the master.
on the outside.
Yeah.
Don't fight it. That's
Or the
feeding
inside.
that's feeding it energy. So the more you begin to fight it, it's saying that the other has power over you, that you have to fight to get free, as if you couldn't just walk free.
Yeah. And this was like me in previous year, where I would go like angry, demonstrating and wanting the system to change. By doing that, I'm validating the system, that it's a valid system to exist. And now it's like, no, you're not valid. I didn't consent to all of this rules and measurement and like the way that our taxes are spent. Like, I'm not consenting to that. And the most effective way is to create something new, which we are doing now with you guys at this moment. Yeah.
So step number 3 is recognize what you're getting out of this slave in you. And this is oftentimes something like safety. It makes us feel safe to have someone above us, like an authority, who tell us what to do, so we can have a responsibility. It can be belonging.
That's a big one.
When there are a lot of all these other slaves, what if I'm free and all these other slaves, they're gonna be,
to whom I belong?
Yeah, where do I belong then?
Yeah.
So just be honest about what is it that you're benefiting from it.
Yeah, this is kind of like where you see the kind of the legs of the table. Like, okay, I don't need to belong to the slaves. Okay, I don't need to have this fake safety. Okay, and then suddenly you will start to have the right people who are also free on your side, and it's so amazing. Like, I see it. Yesterday we went to I went to a cacao ceremony and mantra, and it was so beautiful. Like, the atmosphere was so beautiful. People were in the same page. There was like a lot of love and harmony and people singing together. Many people are opting out of the system. So just like freeing yourself from the slave belonging will open space for you to have a real loving community around you.
Yeah. Okay, step number 4 in liberating yourself from the slave self is to feel your feelings. So, and this can be, there can be a lot of fear coming up when you face quitting your job or leaving an abusive relationship. You know, and you need to feel that, what it is that it brings up. And this links to the previous point where you recognize, for example, if you're getting safety from it, you need to face the unsafety in you. If you're getting belonging from it, you need to face the loneliness in you. If you are fearing responsibility, why is that? You know, facing that, what is underneath that.
So shadow work. And by the way, if you need help with that, we both offer a private session where we can really guide you and help you to take those steps. So don't hesitate to reach out. You can book free intro call with both of us or any of us, and we will find a way to help you with that.
And step number 5, take your energy back. And again, this has nothing to do with fighting. This is simply you noticing where you want to put your energy, and then you just start putting your energy there. You just drop the rest. You just start going towards what it is that you want, which means you need to recognize what it is that you want. Just pulling, and this can be even small things like pulling your energy out of social media. It's not like you're fighting the social media. You just don't go there.
and I created a Telegram group where you can join and see what step we take to protect our privacy and protect our energy from this vampire. It's a literary vampire. Like, whenever you go to social media, and I know many of you are empath and sensitive, you can feel how your energy is dropping lower and lower. And there's also many scientific study shows that being on social media causes depression and anxiety and many situations that you don't have to expose yourself to it. So we both are extremely out of social media at this moment. We rarely go there, maybe like 5 minutes to share our live stream or to say happy birthday to a friend that we don't have their contact, or like we're trying to minimize our time there as much as possible, and we go there with purpose, just like doing what we want and then opt out of it. So as much as you can spend your time in nature outside of this matrix meta universe, you will be way much better, and it will be way much easier for you to connect to your true self.
See what recharges you. You know, like if you ever wonder why you feel out of energy, why do people drink coffee? Why do you have to drink coffee? Is the body tired? Where is your life force energy leaking?
Yeah.
So try to see where it is going, where it is that your energy leaks and what recharges you, and choose the things that recharge you, whatever it is for you. For me, it's being with people physically, laughing together, physical touch, walking in nature, playing music, drawing, eating delicious high vibrational food, like mangoes.
Yeah, we have several videos, check them out, about food and high vibration food.
And regarding food, actually, in a very karmic level, we can never expect to be free if we are enslaving others.
Yeah.
And this means we cannot opt into a system that systematically tortures and enslaves other beings on this planet. What we're doing with animals at the moment, like cows and pigs and chickens and others. So if you are doing that, if you're opting into that, your karma is to be enslaved.
Yeah.
Please understand this. It's not possible.
Yeah, it's impossible to be free and not free being underneath your mercy, especially conscious living being like animals. They have like really beautiful souls, individual souls, and individual personality. So you can't expect yourself to be free if you're enslaving others.
Yes,
it's impossible.
We are literally stealing their life force energy. And this is why many people feel like they need meat, because it gives them energy, gives them this sense of like, I tried to be vegan, but I didn't have any energy. Why? Because you are used to stealing other beings' life force energy instead of connecting to source directly. Yeah. So as you do that, your life force energy is being stolen.
Very well said. Yeah, and the new Hey, we're back.
Okay. All right. So a sovereign being is someone
you can go.
Who is neither slave nor master, that has a lot of love in their heart.
Yeah.
That is not seeking to compete, but rather to collaborate, is